Hey everybody, welcome back to Photography Schoolhouse. I'm Kerry Allen, and tonight we're going to talk about black and white boudoir posing and a little background on that. Boudoir is a pretty hot area of photography right now, and there's a lot of beautiful work being done. But one of the things that I've always liked is the Calvin Klein look. I'm sure you've all seen their ads at one point. They've been doing it for a decade or more. And what's exceptional about it is their lighting. It's not just that they took a color picture and converted it to black and white. It's really very, very well done. So that's what we want to do, is to capture that kind of look that Calvin Klein is able to do. Now, we're never going to be quite as good as them. After all, they are hiring a top model with a multi-million-dollar budget. If it costs them $5,000 to retouch the image, they don't really care. We can't do that in the real world. So we have to come up with a system that gets as close as we can without having to spend significant money to get there. So it all starts with the model, and we have one of the best models ever, one of the most beautiful women in the world, Natalie, who's hidden behind me. And she's volunteered. She has some Calvin Klein gear. And we've picked 5 poses inspired by Calvin Klein, although not all of them are, that we're going to try and do, and we're going to do it in this small area using one light and perhaps, if worse comes to worse, a reflector. Part of my idea, and I don't know if the camera can see this or not, but we're shooting into either the flat wall or into the corner of the room. So our lighting is going to start with, by the way, we have 2 new studio assistants. Lindsay and Brittany. So this 4x6 softbox is going to be our only source of light. And it's angled at about 45 degrees to where Natalie is sitting. And obviously this gray wall is going to bounce some of that light back as a natural fill. That's why I don't think we really need to set up a fill light. So that's the basic plan. So I'm going to try and take a couple of test shots just to begin with. And then at the end, if everything goes well, I'm going to try and retouch some of these images for you. We'll hook up the computer and see how we approach the retouching. So that's our first test shot at 5.6. The histogram says it's pretty good. The histogram is showing no whites at all. Now our gray wall has all this power and cable TV and all of the outlets. We're not going to worry about it. They're going to go in retouching. It's a single click. So don't distress over the outlets. We'll refine the pose in retouching. But Nat, if you look this way for a second. And of course. Okay, so now look at the shadowy side. This is working out very, very well. With no fill light whatsoever, we have enough light bouncing off that adjacent gray wall to act as a natural fill. So I think this is going to work out just fine. So pose number one, Natalie, I'm going to get your head up here. You're going to lie on your back. Your head's up and this way. Your feet are going down the other way. You can kick the kitten just out of the way. Yeah, her bed. And we're going to swoop your hair rather than being trapped. Let's bring it off to one side like that and feather it out a little bit. Now, I bring one arm kind of across. Here, I'll show you the pose just to remind you. So, yeah, one like that. That's the ticket. Now, let me take a test from this angle. I'm going to be shooting almost straight down. Not so bad. I want a little bit more clearance there. Focus on the eyes. Yeah, didn't go. No flash. That's all right. Why is it doing? Yeah, it's like it doesn't like the horizontal or vertical. There we go. Okay, there's that last one. Good, good, good. Now, it just didn't. And the tether's slow, too. I don't know what's taking so long. Probably. Now, I'm going to overshoot this in a way that will allow me to crop back in. We could, and the cat's going to help with that. Now, one thing that I do want, we're getting too much, not enough light on her face, so I'm just going to swing this over. Try again. That's better. Okay, having the kittens as part of the shoot probably is going to be a little tough. So what I'm concerned about, her hair is very dark. I want to make sure I'm getting detail in the hair. So I'll just double check. I think we are, because we're using the monitor in the studio as just a TV. And it tends to make it more contrasty than it really is. So I'm just going to zoom in. And we got plenty of detail in the hair, so we're all good. Double check the histogram. And I may open up just half a stop or so. No looking at the TV. It's one of the reasons in real shoots we don't normally have an in-studio monitor set up. Because they're curious. They want to see what it looks like, obviously. So we're going to let Dave try and capture this on the Hasselblad and see what kind of luck he has. He's got his lenses are fixed focal length, so it's maybe a bit more of a challenge for him to get this kind of shot. Oh, good. The kitten and the mouse. Yes. Now you may want to try standing and shooting more from a downward position. Yeah, let's. We're going to take a second and. Yeah, and their toys. We thought it might be cute. They might pose for a picture, but not so much. They want to run at 100 miles an hour. Now, maybe, Natalie, if you scooch down towards the wall a little bit, so you're not quite so close to that leading edge. What do you have in mind? I think it might look like that Simpsons character. Okay, I think we're going to move on to pose number 2. This is a simple evolution, although we are going to strike the white comforter and the pillows. We'll just get them out of the way. Now this one, Natalie, just to remind you, is sitting up against your back, up against the wall. And I'm going to move this light back. Now here, obviously, I'm going to be thinking about where the shadows fall, so we'll take a test and see where that is. I bet you Calvin Klein never tried to shoot 5 commercials in 1 hour. So just test for shadows. Shadows are very diffuse. I think that's okay. That, of course, is because the softbox is so large, 4 feet by 6 feet. But I'm still going to move you this way a little bit. We're going to drop those shadows right out. Yes. Except now we don't really have... I'm going to have you alter the pose so you turn more to the light. Good. Now, Dave, I'm going to need your assistance here. In the over there's a reflector. Oh, Marianne, can you grab the reflector? Yeah, the white one of the white ones. Okay, let's start with the white side, and let's try and just lighten that shadowy side of her face. Oh, that's the translucent one. Not a good choice. That's better. Now, just watch her face, see when it lightens up. And if we can't get that to work, then we're going to bring in that other fill light, which we had on standby. The small square one that we said we might use or might not. And just in there and down low, set it if you can, its power down around 1.0 or even a 0.5 or something. And then, just down low, right on the floor. No, just stand it on its stand and then lower the stand. That'll do it, right about there. Just change the tilt. Now, I don't want it to overpower. Slide it closer to me if you would. Like that. Let's see how that's going. Well, if the flash would go. Did it flash? I don't think it flashed. Okay, it did that time. It didn't the other time. You can see a dramatic difference. Okay, and I'm just going to get further back to get the angle that I want. Now, for this, I think what we want to do is we want you to tuck that forward foot like right under, like you're almost sitting on it. It's almost invisible. Yeah, like that. And then it's all in the body. Now, Marianne, if you can just smooth her hair on that side. Okay, she got it. Okay. Good, good, good. Exposure looks about bang on. Now, what I think we want to do, I want to change your leg position because I don't really like the foot jutting out like that. See how she's got it tucked behind her somehow? They might have done that in Photoshop, you never know. And that one. Yeah, and the other one. So if you angle your body towards the fill light, so that'll make that easier, and then you look back towards the main light. Okay. Yeah, that's bulging a little bit, so it looks bigger. Awesome. And I'm on a leash. There we go. Good, 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 good. Now turn your head more to the camera, like so. Don't move, just let your head drift to the big light, eyes back to the camera. Awesome. Yeah, it's a hard pose to hold, but I think we've got it. So pose number 3, oh, it's over there, I think was the wall, the corner. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's right. We have heels for that shot. Oh, sorry, Dave, I skipped over you. You want me to go back? Yeah, while you're there. We want some on the blad. Yeah. Make sure it hurts. Yep. Just want to, okay, a quick wardrobe change. Not that there's that much, she's adding shoes. Yep. For some reason the question chat dialog isn't loading on my iPad. It's probably because Apple wants me to upgrade my iPad. Okay, well, this is the question dialog if it ever loads. Okay, so I'm going to sit kind of leaning on this wall, feet curled around the other way. I'm going to reposition the light, so you're going to be like into that corner. Yep. All right. So try that while I move the light a little bit. I don't think it has to move that much, actually. You can just more of a directional thing. Okay. Boy, between the two of you. Okay. So I want you right up so your shoulder's actually leaning on that wall. Come towards me a little bit. Right there. And then curl your feet around a touch more. Yep. So you can feel your shoulder touching the wall. That close. There we go. You're going to look straight across. Just taking a test for lighting. Dave, if you would, we may have to reposition that fill light. Just back out of the shot, basically. Yeah, still there. Okay, looking across, not at the camera this time. With Calvin Klein, it's all about kind of emotion and sexiness. Like you would hang out in your living room like this any old time. Maybe drop your chin a touch. Now, I should point out we are shooting this all in color, and the reason is I could set the camera for black and white, but that would defeat my retouching. I have parts of the retouching, which you'll see towards the end, where I use the color. It needs to be in the image for the process to work, and then we take the color out right at the end. So yes, these are going to wind up as black and white, not as color. That was a good one. Now, don't move a muscle. Just, yeah, look back at the camera, kind of that pouty look. Good, good, good. Turn your head slightly, right like that. Good, good. Excellent. Okay, Dave, so if you want to try this. Yeah, nothing really changed.
Left side.
Can't get the window to come up at all.
Give a little bit of that you're too good to be here. Look. We're way too good for this.
Okay. This is going fast. So it's just notice we've arranged these in a way that no major changes. We've got all the 5 poses kind of lined up from one to the next. And we're right on schedule, which means we'll get to a couple of the bonus shots, I'm pretty sure. So for this next one, number 5, you're going to stand in the corner. And it's pose number 5 was this one, just arms crossed basically, looking right at the light. And I'd shift your weight onto one foot or the other. what's up? Camera 1 is okay? Perfect. Now, need a little bit of fill. Maybe not. Okay, let's just move the fill in and up a little. Yeah. Let's try that. Actually, it's fine right there. Yeah. And again, I'm just going to double check. The histogram looks perfect. I'm just going to bring the image up, double check that her hair, dark hair on the dark top. I don't want to lose the detail. And the detail looks just fine. Okay. Now we'll actually shoot. Good, good, good. I'm only doing these basically as a 3/4 length, although there's no reason why I couldn't do a couple of full lengths. Now, I'm going to bring you out, instead of leaning right into the corner, just a foot out. Yeah, like that. See how this changes the shadow. Yeah, it'll come out in retouching. That's good. I like that. And a couple more to finish up. Now I'm shooting from a slightly lower position. Well, with no flash, however, I'm shooting with no flash. Basically, my camera's at about her lower arm, and that gives us pretty good proportions. I don't want to be standing for this because that would tilt the camera down, not really the look I'm going for. And I don't want it certainly any lower because I don't want to tilt the camera up, so it's just kind of camera neutral. Okay, we're moving quickly, Dave. Grab some shots on the blad. I keep on saying we're going to tether this Hasselblad. All we need is one more cable to add to the 2,000 cables we already have.
This is a full length. So rarely do. Start to the light. A bit of shift to weight.
All right, that was basically the 5 poses that I had in mind, but I have bonus poses here, and it's going so well we're going to try for some. And I'm gradually going to try and reduce the intensity of the gray background. And I'm going to do that, with any luck, just by re-aiming. We don't want it angled towards the wall.
Uh,
And just pivot it that way. Let's try that just for lighting. Over a little bit and towards me. Okay, this is good. Actually, right where it is. So Natalie, come forward just a step. Okay. Turn your shoulders, your body kind of more that way. Actually, Dave, I'm going to back up. So keep coming right to the forward edge of the light. I'm going to do cable management. This is better. Perfect. Shoulders a little turn. Yeah, like that. Smooth back your hair. No, of course not. Flash, don't go for great candids. Camera can't see it. So all we've done, I think now what we're going to do, Dave, is take that, what was the fill light, spin it around, move it away so it becomes a kicker light. So, yeah, put it against the opposite side. Towards, yeah, and now spin it back to Natalie. So it's coming from behind as a kicker. Come. No, not too far. Where it was good. I just aimed. Let's see what that does. That's kind of cool. Okay. Turn your head more to the big light. Good. Excellent. Okay, now let's slide the light up to the TV. So, and then practically side on to Natalie. No flash, of course. No, there it goes. Okay.
That's the Calvin Klein.
Yeah, the no flash one, yeah. That's pretty good. I like that. Okay, well, let's try without the playing with the hair. And that hand. Yeah, keep your head to the big light a little bit. Not right into, yeah, like that. Right there. I think we might. If you can corral that up, probably for the next shot. But Dave, if you want to grab your camera. Travis, I can't get the chat window to come up on the iPad. Is there any activity? Just let me know.
Bring them up. Yeah.
Okay, stay there, Dave, and then let's bring the fan in. I'm going to move out of the way because the angle should come right from about where I was sitting. Oh, you might as well continue, and then I'll go after you.
The last one, showing some breaks. The last one.
Okay, if you hurry, you can get Marianne's butt. Camera 2, I think.
It's not my best side. Gotta be Houdini.
Pretty much. Now, we have this special fan. If you've seen our productions before, it's actually a Stanley. I think it's Stanley, isn't it? Yeah, Stanley fan. And it's very, very directional. I bought it at Lowe's, cost about $50. And I could scrape the name off, put my own name, and sell it for $900. But it's the best fan I've ever seen for photography, anyways, in a low price range without spending thousands of dollars. So let's go on low. Yeah, see, from that position, it tosses her hair up too much, so you're going to have to stand, I think. So her hair goes back rather than up.
Oh, no, you're not. What's the light? Look at your left hand.
Try some cross arm. Yeah. Okay, I want to grab some of that.
Last one.
This is how we cool down the hot moments.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. Actually, Dave, can you stand with it? Still, it's lifting the hair too much.
I can stand. I didn't want to be in his way there.
No,
Or in the camera.
no, don't worry. It's on a different camera. A little bit more turn, yeah, of your face to the light, to the big light. It's no longer coming up on screen. This is good. Angle your whole body a little bit more. Yep. Excellent. Try going to the Apple menu and just kill task. The little Apple thing in the far left. And there's a thing called force quit. Well, that's bad because that's our broadcast. Are we broadcasting? Okay, then just keep broadcasting. Lose that. Switch to a camera. Okay. All right, that was good, and we can evolve this right to the very next pose, which can be this one. It's kind of a funky crop, but you're just going to turn a little bit more into the light. And let's see. Don't know that we need the fan, but stand by just in case. Step away from the light a little bit. Yeah, now turn. Like that. Bring your shoulder right across, like your chin right across your shoulder. So rather than hunch the shoulder up, leave the shoulder normally. Just turn more. Good, good, good. Now just swoop the hair back like that. Good. No, this is fine. It's a tough life being a model. Now let's add some wind action. Try not to squint. That's good. That's the one I want. It will be in a minute. Good, good. Dave?
It's okay. I'll catch it.
Yep. I'm going to be. I'm just getting the images onto my laptop right now, and I'm going to show you some basic retouching. And the final step will be the conversion into black and white. We just need to do a little singing and dancing while this card downloads, because I shot everything in both high-resolution RAW and high-resolution JPEG, so lots of data to download. Okay, there's a musical interlude right behind me, which you probably can't hear. We're getting there. Too bad you can't edit things out in real time, you know, just leap ahead to the point where it's done. Okay, I want a time machine. Okay. Now, I personally don't use Lightroom. Not that I have anything against Lightroom. I'm just kind of in the habit of doing this. Lightroom is a relatively new thing in the last 10 years or so, and obviously there were lots of applications for doing that before Lightroom showed up on the scene. And let me just find where I put these images. Okay, 100 Canon. So I use this product called ACDC, and it links directly into Photoshop as Lightroom does. Just get past all our funky setup stuff. Okay, this was pose number 1. I'm going to try finding the one I want to work on. Don't like the top of her head missing. Don't think I like that composition. This one's better. That one's better. I'm going to say, just for argument's sake, oh, that's kind of cool, but that one. So I'm just going to move this into Photoshop, and it's the wrong one. No, it's the right one. I have 3 versions of Photoshop on this laptop. So it's in Camera Raw. There's the raw histograms looking pretty good. We're not clipping the whites or the blacks. So I'm basically fine. I don't feel motivated to do too much here. I'm just going to go ahead and open the image. Now, I can take a quick look at levels, but I don't really need to. This is just a different look at the histogram instead of being like the RGB histogram. But I already know the exposure is just about perfect. I'm happy with it. So usually the first thing I want to do is any close-up I'm going to go right in at 100%, and we go in and look for any flaws that may be there. I like the healing brush tool for this, because it's very fast. Normally the customer wouldn't see this because they kind of get grossed out. What? I don't look like that. Well, the camera sees a lot of stuff. So I am going to do skin softening after this. So if I do have some roughness, I'm not going to worry too much about that right now. Everybody, no matter how perfect their skin is, going to have little deals like this. Now, I'd also use this tool for removing stray hairs. Healing brush, and then I don't usually workflow on my laptop, but I'll give it a shot tonight. So any stray hairs, just get rid of those. Now, my favorite application for something like this is called Portraiture by Imaginomic. Been using it for years. I know there are other ones, but I like this one. Now, if you're a user of Portraiture, this is what I'm using right now are very special settings. It's not one of the presets that comes with the product. I got it from a guy named George, who is one of the chief people over at Imaginomic, and it's particularly good for glamour boudoir kind of look. So if you want to make a note of the sharpness, which is 10, everything else is 0, and then the detail smoothing is -20, 0, +20, and 40. And with the skin tones mask turned off. Now, when I said I needed to shoot in color before going black and white, this is the reason why. This plug-in only works with CR2, or I'm sorry, with color images, because it uses the color range to select how the algorithm is going to work. So all I do now is this softens everything, because I didn't use the mask. It softens absolutely everything exactly the same, which I don't usually want. So I just go to the layer. See how it made a new layer on the right-hand side, background copy. That was made by portraiture. I'm going to select the eraser tool, and I turned off the background layer, so for a second this is going to look real funky. I want a softer brush. Not that hard edge thing. So I'm just going to lighten up. I want her eyes to be sharp. Eyebrows, lips should be sharp. And I'll go with a large brush. I want the hair to be sharp. Get right down so I get all of the hair. Now other areas like the tattoos, I want those to be sharp. If she had jewelry on, a necklace or earrings, I would sharpen those. And so right now, as funky as this looks, I'm going to turn the background layer back on. And if I zoom in close enough, that's 100%. And if I flick this softening layer on and off, you can see how it took the skin and just even her top, the clothing, just beautifully smoothed and merged together, while her eyes, eyelashes, lips, everything else remains perfectly sharp. Now, I had actually spent a little bit more time working on that, but I'm not going to worry about all of that right now. I could do other things. I can go ahead and change it to black and white. So right now all I have is I just use the change mode. I know there's 100 ways of doing black and white in Photoshop, and everybody's going to have their favorite, but I changed the mode. I have it programmed as an action, but basically all I did is the mode goes to grayscale, and then in part 2 of the action it sets it back to RGB again. And now I can just adjust using levels or curves, whichever you like better. I'm just going to adjust the final black and white image a little bit. Bring up the whites. Don't need to play with the blacks too much. I'll make it a little moodier by bringing the black levels up. So let's see, that's as it was. This is with a levels adjustment. What I don't like, although I like everything else, I don't like the way your hair went dark. So there's a couple ways I can deal with that. What I'm going to do is cancel out of this, and I'm going to duplicate the layer. And then I'm going to add a mask. Actually, let me go back. Let me do the levels on the layer. Oh, come on. So I get in her skin tones, I get kind of the more dramatic look that I want. Then I'm going to add a mask using the brush tool on black. Set the opacity for 100%, give myself a larger brush. I can just brush the hair back in so it doesn't block up. Change the opacity of the brush down to around 40%. Try it on the tattoos. But I think right about there. Let me get in close at 100%. Whoops, 200%. You can see there's good detail in the hair everywhere. Now I could go in with the, what I often do is go in with the dodge tool, get in really close on the eyes, and I can try and lighten up the iris a little bit. This is down around 50% exposure on midtones. It's not going to make that big a change. You have to be careful with this because sometimes it kind of overdoes it. I think it just adds a touch more brightness in the eyes. So for a shot like that, I could crop this in. I could lose that wall in the background. A couple ways I could do that, either by cropping, or if I didn't want to lose her knees, I could do content-aware fill and just get rid of that wall. But I'm kind of okay with the image right here because I want to look at some other images that we did. That's the one I want. I'm going to do this again, but much faster because I'm kind of running overtime a little bit. So this is camera raw. Shows the histogram is perfectly balanced. Open the image. I'm going to recrop this. I'm going to say that we're planning on an 8x10. Move her up in the image like so. Then go in with the healing brush. See if there's any little adjustments to make. Go in close, 200%. Now, if you met her in real life, you wouldn't even see these. This is just because we're using funky lighting. It's going to accent every tiny little pore of her skin, which is why I don't normally let the customer see this, because they overreact. But you see how easy it is just to get rid of those. They're pretty much gone. Let's just check around. She's standing watching over my shoulder, so I can't see too much. Here's a problem. Yeah. So I can drag the healing brush. We'll try that. That doesn't always work. Actually, it worked pretty well this time. Sometimes, depending on the adjacent areas, because the healing brush is basically content-aware fill. Depending on the adjacent areas, you may or may not have problems. Now, there's lint. She was complaining of lint. I'm just going to help with the lint a little bit. And again, I probably spend more time, but I don't want to take up too much more of our time here. And then my F5 adjustment. Oh, I forgot. So see how I'm not going to describe every detail this time. I'm going to the exact same settings, the glamour settings I told you about before. It's going to create a new layer. We're going to turn off the background layer, highlight the layer that was created, use our eraser tool, and go into 100%. I'm going to erase the softening layer, so I'm effectively sharpening the eyes, sharpening the lips, open the brush up, we'll get some sharpness back into the hair. I'm doing this quickly and kind of sloppily. Yeah. So you get the idea. Then I'm going to flatten that layer. I'm going to turn the background back on, flatten that layer. Do my Control F5, which is the convert to black and white, bring up my levels. Make the whites whiter, make the darks darker, without losing detail in her hair. Now I also have a mid-tone slider that I can play with to add a little bit more drama. Let's bring it up to 100%. So I'll turn the preview off. So that's the image as it stands right now, but using this last level step, I can add just a little bit more contouring to the light. Everywhere it just gets more content or more contour. And again, if I was worried about blocking up her hair, then I'd simply do this. I'd cancel out, same exact thing I did before. Just going to duplicate the layer. And do that levels adjustment on the layer, which was here, here, and oops, here. Add a mask, brush, black, and brush is at 41% right now. I'm going to go with a smaller brush, and I'm just going to brush some detail back into the hair and her top, which, you know, it's dark blue, but it's black. We keep calling it dark blue. I'm going to go right up to 100% opacity with this. So again, I'm not going to go too much, whoops, didn't want that at 100%. Too much more detail for our broadcast. I'm going to work on these images, and I'll be posting them to the Facebook Photography Schoolhouse group tomorrow. Just merge that down, and it's black and white 8x10. So any last questions, or are we pretty much good to go? How do I get the what effect? Yeah, I'm not sure what we're referring to by similar effect. I am using Photoshop. Oh, I see. And that's probably it. Yeah, instead of using Imaginomics, use Portrait or use Photoshop. No, it's not that simple. Believe me, if it was that simple, I would have saved the money and not spent it on portraiture. You could do essentially some finicky work with Gaussian blur. You'd spend hours trying to get the same thing, because this is what let me just bring it up. What portraiture is doing is not treating the image entirely the same. It does one thing for fine detail, it does something else for medium detail, something else again for large detail. Its algorithm is extremely sophisticated. We can take what is essentially a 3 or 4 second job and turn it into a 3 or 4 hour job if you want. For me, I don't know what they're charging for this right now. I think I was somewhere around almost 200, maybe 180 or something. I haven't because I bought it a long time ago. It is worth its weight in gold. It's the best $180 I ever spent. And I just had to download. Plus, once you own it forever. I just installed Photoshop CC 2015 on this laptop today. Had to update the portraiture version, and it's free. They don't charge for the update, even though there was probably 5 steps in between. So once you own it for life. Oh, if you buy the package, yeah. They have the noise and the grain, yeah. If you buy all 3, you get a better price. So it's Imaginomic, if you want to go to their site and just check it out. But with the volume of work, and I'm not a high-volume studio anymore, I couldn't do what I do without this and have any kind of life at all. Literally, Now, if I wasn't doing this, let me bring up a different image. Just real quick. Won't even matter which one it is. Just show you something. Well, I'll just take that one because I said it wouldn't matter. Now, I put it on its glamour settings, but the way I would normally use it on a portrait session is I wouldn't go with this special custom preset that we made. I normally go with smoothing normal under the presets, and I turn the skin tone mask on. Then taking the dropper tool, you select areas of the skin. Now watch the preview on the far right hand side. As I move the mouse around different areas of the skin, you can see how the algorithm is changing what's going to be softened and what's going to be left alone. See, if I go here in her neck, notice how her arm is different than if I go to her arm. So what I would do, you can multi-click. So I want her arm to be softened, so I'll click on it. Then I can click again and select more area under her chin, and so on, until I have a skin tone mask that I want. Then I'm going to go ahead and save that. It'll build a new layer. And I'm going to turn off the background layer. So anything that is soft now, same thing. Just going to take the eraser tool. And that wasn't the eraser tool. So I could clean up the eyes. Keep the sharpness in the eyes and the lips like I did before, or in her tattoos, just by erasing the softening mask. But now her face, arm, legs, thighs, everything's going to be nicely softened. So that's normally the way I would use it, unless I'm doing boudoir, in which case I use those glamour presets that we talked about before. I don't use layers of portraiture. I have, in particularly bad cases, one little trick. You get some clients with really rough patch of skin. Popular area is that part of the neck, the lower neck, upper chest, sometimes can get ridiculously rough. Skin or sunlight exposure over the years usually happens with older clients, of course. And you go in with portraiture and you try and find the best blend, but you can't just get it right. So what I'll do is I'll do one layer of portraiture basing a skin selection of, in this case, let's say I selected her arm. Then I do another layer selecting her chest, and I do those layers at different intensities. So I really kind of soften that rough out and that rough skin. Sometimes you have to play with that with layers and erasing and whatnot. So yeah, it's a little bit more time, but a highly effective way of doing this. But with Natalie, I mean, holy crow. I mean, there's nothing much to do, so just one click and it's done. Okay, folks, we ran a little over. I apologize, but I'm going to workflow the rest of these images that we took tonight. I'm going to add them to the Facebook group. If you're not on our Facebook group, go just do a search for Photography Schoolhouse. There's a Photography Schoolhouse page and a Photography Schoolhouse group. I'm going to be posting these into the group, so you can find them there. Of course, if you're a PSH Gold member, you will be. In fact, if you want to bring up that lower third, PSH Gold members, of course, have access to all of this stuff, the recordings and everything. And this is the 10th anniversary. Photography Schoolhouse was started in June 10 years ago. So we're having a 10th anniversary special, which is instead of $179.95 a year, it's only $99.95 a year. Plus, you get a truckload of bonus items. And that's the 10th anniversary special. It's only on for a few more days. So go to pshgold.com if you want all the details and what all the freebies are. So with that, I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks to everybody who joined us tonight. Thanks to Natalie and all the assistants in the studio, Dave and Marianne and Travis and You see, it takes a whole crew, it takes a village to bring you these productions. Anyways, thanks again. See you next week.